Identity theft is a growing problem, but what should you do first if you realize someone has taken your identity? Dan Thompson from Claris Networks, otherwise known as our favorite techspert, joins us this morning. Now, over on 10 News Today, we talked about what identity theft is and how to protect yourself, but how do you find out your identity has been stolen? Let's start with that.
Yeah, so that can be kind of complicated, and there's varying degrees of ID theft. The Federal Trade Commission, there we go, considers if somebody steals your credit card to be ID theft. However, generally those are pretty easy to catch. Your credit card companies will usually call you, hey, you live in Tennessee, why are there transactions going on in California, stuff like that. The more complicated things to find is when somebody takes a credit card out in your name, or they get a new driver's license in your name, something like that. The only way we can really find those out is to keep an eye on our credit reports. Through the Credit Reporting Act that came out several years back, you're allowed to get one free credit report a year from each of the credit reporting bureaus. So if you kind of stagger those, you can do it like basically once every 4 months. But that's the best way, is to keep an eye on those credit reports. And then if you start getting calls from creditors about homes that you don't own, or weird things like that, that should be sending alarms off in your head as, hey, there might be something weird going on here.
It's probably also good to keep an eye on your credit report at least every year.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then, to go along with those credit card, when your credit card number gets stolen, a lot of times the credit card companies will give you free credit reporting for a year. It would behoove you to take them up on that offer.
All right, let's talk about the first thing to do when you find out that your identity's been stolen.
Yeah, so first of all, the Federal Trade Commission's website is just a treasure trove of information about what to do and how you do it and that kind of thing. So ftc.gov is a great resource. The very first thing you want to do is to file a formal complaint with the FTC. They will send you back some documentation which you can take to the local police department. You're going to want to file a police report, and then they're going to want to see this official complaint from the FTC. Those things combined together, you can now present those to your creditors and to the credit bureaus as saying, hey, my ID has legitimately been stolen, and I need you to help me put a stop to all this. The good thing is, with all the current laws, they really help you as the end user to really kind of get ahead of this thing, but it can be very time consuming, and for some people can be very expensive to get out from under.
Well, I was just going to say, do you find that some of these situations have positive outcomes?
They can, yeah. I mean, once you get out from under it, the credit reporting services are set up to help us on this issue, but like I was saying a second ago, it can be very expensive, especially if somebody buys a house in your name, or rents an apartment and runs up a huge bill, something like that. Those are hard to get away from, especially once they're turned over to the creditors and people like that, because they're kind of hound dogs anyway. They'll wear you out over it. It can be a very big deal.
What a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Well, certainly something we need to keep our eye on, and we need to be careful ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Dan Thompson, thanks for being with us
Thanks a lot.
this morning. And we've got much more still to come at 7:21. We'll be right back.